did you hear the latest news on gold and silver from Costco? I guess they put out their earnings last week. Let's go out to, and what would it mean? Let me ask you this. If the mainstream media really starts to pick up on the gold story and the silver story, okay? Because guys, remember, what does it mean to you when you realize that this massive rally that we've had in the silver market and the gold market over the last 3 to 4 months, this massive big rally was done in the headwinds, right? In the worst environment from a Western perspective, high interest rates, right? A strong dollar, and almost no interest in precious metals in the Western countries. ETF outflows, GLD, maybe that's why they're letting them buy the GLD and the SLV. Money coming out of the ETFs. Gold and silver, think about this. Does this computing for you? Gold ran up to $2,400. Right now it's, $2,300, $2,340, whatever it is per ounce. Silver's hugging $30 per ounce. It did that in the most difficult environment possible from a Western perspective. The richest country in the world, the United States of America. What does that mean if things turn around a little bit? What does it mean, right, if people start putting money into SLV, putting money into GLD? If the American public that's already been slapped across the face with inflation, gets hit with another wave of inflation, and they get slapped the second time, they're like, you know what? You slapped me once. You aren't going to slap me that bad again. I'm going to go buy some silver or gold. What if the mainstream media starts to pick up? What's the biggest, when you think mainstream media in the United States, you're probably around my age. I'm 54 years old, right? We're young at heart, basement dwellers. And by the way, I'm going to thank you again for being here. And by the way, let's put up our banner to say thank you to our sponsors and thank you to all you that have sent me ounces of silver over the last couple of years. I was thinking about that last night. How nice. Nonetheless, we're brothers. We're all around the same age-ish, right? What's mainstream media to you? To me, there's nothing more mainstream than the NBC News. And what is their big story? And it's not just NBC News. It's all over, again, the mainstream media. Costco. Right? Costco, that is America. Even though, honestly, I've never been inside of a Costco. Been in a Sam's Club and an Aldi, but nonetheless, it is America. I'm a rebel. Are you a rebel? Have you ever been in a Costco? Anyway, says gold buyers are helping drive up its online sales. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. We love that. But this is what we want to pay attention to, NBC News. Oh, and there's some stuff in here that is going to make your skin crawl. Anyway, about the mainstream financials. So this is, and it's a great little nugget for us silver and gold investors. The retailers, e-commerce sales jumped 20%. Okay. With growth, quote, led by gold and silver bullions. They listed that first. Notice that. Gift cards and appliances, continuing a run of strong demand for its precious metal products. Hold on, I'm going to get a drink of coffee, and then you're going to get a nugget and your skin's going to crawl. Okay, think about this. E-commerce sales jumped by 20%, and they're listing gold and silver, and they're also saying it was because of gift cards and appliances. Do you really think gift card sales suddenly spiked out of the blue? Why would that happen? Okay, so it's not really gift cards, in my opinion. Appliances? Really? People are suddenly buying appliances? Was there any catalyzing event that would have caused people to buy 20% more appliances? No. It's because of gold and silver. It's because the people that shop at Costco, maybe that's why I don't go there, I think are pretty smart. Like my neighbors that go there are usually like smart, educated people. Costco made only a single terse mention of, this is NBC, this is mainstream, precious metals in its latest earnings call, but reinforced that analysts were onto something when they flagged strong demand for the retailers' gold bars and silver coins this spring. Okay, that's the chief financial officer. I already kind of read that to you. Remember, Wells Fargo researchers estimated in early April that members-only retailer had been pulling in between 100 million and 200 million in monthly revenue from the products. This is silver and gold after rolling them out last summer. Okay. By December, Costco said it was already selling over 100 million in gold bars within the space of a quarter and sometimes running out in just hours. These are probably new stackers, new people coming into precious metals. Eventually, they'll wise up and they'll start buying more and more, right? And they'll go to places like Pimbex, right? They'll go to the big online bullion dealers, excuse me, when they realize that they want to work with specialists when they're buying. Now, let's talk about, here's this. I want to point this out. NBC News says, the gold rush is the latest sign that some consumers remain hot on perceived safe investments. Now, this is where your skin crawls. This is where your skin crawls. And there's a little bit of a nugget in here, okay? Lee Baker. They're talking to this guy named Lee Baker. Lee's the founder of the planning firm Apex Financial Services and president of the AARP of Georgia. All right. Listen to what he says here. A couple things he mentions. He says, I haven't had a single client ask me about buying gold, Baker conceded. Now, this is what gets me. This is what keeps the skin crawling. Okay. And there's two things that we need to consider when we're thinking about this. Unlike other assets, they say this all the time about precious metals don't produce any cash flow through yields or interest. No, they just go up in value and protect you against inflation. No, number one, right? Okay, number one, they don't produce cash flow, of course, right? Or a yield or anything else, but they also, Lee, don't have any counterparty risk. If you hold that gold, if you hold that silver, which all these Costco people are starting to realize, you don't have to rely on anybody else or anything to provide you with the value, right? There's no promise. There's no contract. If you hold it in your hand, you own it. So number one, I get sick of hearing these people say this. Oh, it doesn't produce any cash flow. It doesn't whatever. The other thing I'll say to Lee is this. The other thing that gold and silver don't do, and you got to realize this mainstream financial services industry is powerful, right? And they'll always say stuff like this. But what do you think it means if you consider the fact that the other thing that gold and silver don't do are provide people that are in the financial services industry with any type of recurring commission? Excuse me. Because when they put you into a mutual fund, or they put you into any other number of quote unquote investments, they make a recurring commission year after year after year on the money you have in many times in those investments. Gold, and one of the reasons they don't like gold and silver, right? And they'll probably come up with some tricky way to trick the public. They won't trick you. You won't fall for it because I'll point it out to you when it happens. But there's no real investment option available for the financial services industry that allows them to milk the general public. Okay. So they're always going to say, oh, gold and silver, you need to put your money into the stock market. You need to put your money into, excuse me, into a bond fund or something where I can make a recurring commission off you. So very interesting, very exciting, though. Also regarding this is the fact that the mainstream media, NBC, starting to pick up for us on the gold and silver movement. Oh.